Here's a wild story. Look at this from Mediaite. Jewish women with Star of David rainbow flags banned from Chicago Pride March. 3 women were told to leave LGBT Pride festivities in Chicago on Saturday because their rainbow flags had the Star of David on them. According to Chicago's LGBT paper, Windy City Times, the women were told by the organizers of the 21st annual Chicago Dyke March that their flags made people feel unsafe. Lori Grauer, one of the women asked to leave, told the Windy City Times that she received her flag from her congregation that celebrates her queer Jewish identity and that she had marched with it at the parade for over a decade. The organizers of the Pride March, which is separate from Chicago's Pride Parade, defended their decision by issuing this statement on Twitter. The statement, I'm not going to read it to you, but I'll just give you the gist, declaring that the Jewish star on the rainbow flag solely represented the nation of Israel, not the symbol for Judaism. Okay, so you gotta let him march, man. You gotta let him march. I mean, what are you doing? They have a right to be there just like anybody else does, and they're saying, hey, it represents my Judaism. I'm a Jewish gay person. If somebody was there as a Catholic gay person, as a Muslim gay person, whatever, we can point out that that's a little weird insofar as those religions typically frown upon homosexuality. So it's like, hey, you're part of a club where they don't want you. But then on the other hand, what they're doing is trying to represent a more liberal version, an open-minded, tolerant version of that religion, which it would be nice if everybody who was in those religions was more tolerant and open-minded like that as well. So yeah, you gotta let them march. That's like a no-brainer. Now, whether it represented Judaism or Israel, though, that's interesting because they say, no, this is just representing Judaism and that's it. That's the reason why I have it on there. And the organizers are saying, no, the flags were like Israeli flags with, you know, the LGBT flag with it, like the colors there too. And on that front, yeah, like we're talking about an apartheid state. We're talking about a state that does permanent occupation and oppression of Palestinians and is doing more and more land grabs and building more and more illegal settlements. And, you know, they're not for fucking progress. And what we've seen here is that is an attempt, and Israel does this all the time. The right wing in Israel does this all the time. They use their better treatment of gays relative to surrounding Muslim theocracies. They use that as an excuse to tell people, look the other way while we oppress Palestinians, because we're so liberal and we're so open-minded and we're the only democracy in the Middle East. So, I mean, come on, we can't be bad, we can't be wrong, we can't be incorrect or doing barbaric shit, because, well, hey, look at us, we're so liberal. I mean, we treat gays well, women have equality, so we're relatively open-minded on that front, so therefore, we get like a pass when we oppress Palestinians and take more and more land in the West Bank and bomb the shit out of Gaza and kill 80% civilians and have apartheid and do permanent occupation and violate international law brazenly. So the trick is you use liberal values as an excuse to do the opposite of liberal values. They're using liberal values in some areas to try to cover up the illiberal values in other areas. So, yes, the like, you know, pro-gay Zionism, that's just such a contradiction. And I understand people going, hey, fuck off with that bullshit, because it's bullshit. That's what it is. It's fucking bullshit. So I get that. But look, they say it only represents our Judaism and that's it. So, okay, I mean, it is what it is. And even if it represented Israel, like, I think you're assholes, but still, you should be allowed to march in the parade. Who gives a fuck? Or should be who gives a fuck. And the excuse of I feel triggered, what are they going to do? What are they going to call in some IDF airstrikes on you? Pipe down. It's really, no, they're not going to do that. So, yeah, you got to let them march. I believe them when they say, this just represents my Jewish faith and me being gay. Totally fine. And And by the way, they spoke to, I think, one of the people who was kicked out with this flag, and she was like, by the way, yeah, I'm in favor of a two-state solution. And I'm in favor of an independent Palestinian state, a free and independent Palestinian state. So I tend to believe them when they say this doesn't represent Israel and LGBT pride. It's my Jewish faith and LGBT pride, which is totally fine.